I'm here today with the Analog 4 Mark II. Because of my background, which is a lot more rhythmic, like rhythm oriented, which is why I love the Analog Rhythm Mark II, I thought that picking up the Analog 4 would push me more into a melodic direction. It hasn't really done that yet. I find that just the way that the sequencer works in combination with the sounds that it offers, it pulls me into still a rhythmic and atonal sort of direction. Another synth that this could easily be compared to is the Vermona PerFourmer Mark II, which is also a 4-voice monophonic synthesizer, but it's just that, like, it doesn't have a sequencer. It's much simpler in terms of what it's actually capable of, and it just has that Vermona sound which has existed since it came out in the early 2000s. With the PerFourmer, that's a sound that you simply cannot get away from. Whereas with the Analog 4, of course, it does have a sequencer, a very juicy and powerful sequencer, one of my favorite sequencers. It could also be an analog drum machine. In fact, that's exactly how I used it in this video. It could also be a combo of a drum machine and a synthesizer and kind of everything in between. And I've actually been on the edge of either keeping or finally just getting rid of my Analog 4, because at first with the default presets, I found it didn't sound like analog. It didn't have a thick sound like something like the Vermona PerFourmer Mark II. I'm someone who likes to vibe off of a preset that I like and then sort of use that as a starting point. I couldn't come up with anything that I liked with the default presets. So what did I do? I invested in some other preset packs that I think they're available on Elektron's website. So no breakthroughs there, but finally, after 6 months of using the Analog 4, something clicked when my buddy Stereo Image, who I've featured here on this channel a bunch, by the way, he's also an avid Analog 4 user, and we worked something out. He created a preset pack for it, and that really was the turning point. That was actually like just a couple weeks ago. If you'd like a pre-released version of the preset pack, it's available over on my Patreon. Here is a link, and of course, thanks to everyone who's already joined the Patreon. Another way of supporting, of course, if you're into the Analog 4 Mark II and you decide to pick one up, use the affiliate link in the description of this video. That's something that would help me out a lot. A little bit more insight on the Analog 4 and sort of the shape it's taking, the purpose that it's serving within my setup. I find that it's exceptionally good at creating what we just heard, like a sort of a foundational pulse, something to use to develop as a full idea. Because there's only 4 tracks, for me, it's not enough to imagine putting together a fully developed idea, but it does give a pretty banging starting point, which I haven't achieved anywhere else. Of course, it's a 4-voice mono synthesizer, so I have individual outs for each voice, and it fits really well into my analog production setup. So I have the TIAC A3440. It's the tape, on this side. That tape machine over there, which happens to have 4 mono ins and 4 mono outs. So it's perfect to just capture the flavor of the tape machine. And then from there, I could route directly into my SSL Big 6, which happens to have 4 super analog tracks. So the quality of that chain is excellent. And of course, the SSL Big 6 bridges the gap between analog and digital. So if I want to, I could throw digital effects over top of these voices, or maybe add clips along with the voices from the Analog 4. So it's just, for me, it's just a perfect combination that's continuing to develop. This gives me multiple pages, ultimate control over all of my tones, very precise sound design tool. And then of course I have my analog chain, which is just amazing. And by the way, that's a setup I'll definitely be exploring in a future video for sure. So let's see how this sounds and works in context. Whatever sound that I decide to upload to any of these voices, the way I do it is I just go to sort ABC, and then here I have A, B, C, D, however many. And so I know that the preset pack that I want to work on is on C. And then of course from there I could filter specifically sounds within this preset pack. So let's say pad, that's everything that comes up. So my sounds here are more or less loaded up. Let's see what we could do with these 4 sounds. Starting with kick, and because we only have 4 voices, let's see what we could do with this kick to make it take up enough space. So we'll give it a 4 on the floor. We're at 142 BPM, and I'm just gonna throw in some other notes in here. right? So that's obviously very square. I always jump right into the step parameters. This one on step 8, I'll have it play the 4th of 4 times, and this one I'll have it play 3rd of 4 times. Let's see where this goes. Step 8 filter. Let's just open up the filter. We could even get a bandpass going here. And definitely some delay. And then on step 10, I basically just did the opposite. So I pulled the depth of the envelope. And to pull away from, 4 on the floor, let's give it that sort of rhythm. Go over to the voice 2, and we have this sort of snare drum sounding thing here. Right away, function, page, let's make this a 7-step pattern. So now we have an odd time. Some other settings here. Length is set to infinite, which means that it's just gonna keep playing in 7. So this is a true odd time. It doesn't reset at any point. And let's really shorten this note up. It sounds like we got some LFO going on here, right? So there's one on the frequency, on the filter frequency. Let's play around with that a little bit. Change the speed of that a little bit. And we'll add some more delay to that. I'll add a second note here. So the first one will play, once again, trig conditions. Second of 2 times, and this one will play the first of 3 times. So it kind of randomizes this a little bit. And this second one, we could maybe open up ADSR. Boom, there we go. Okay, so because this one's a lot bigger, let's actually make this the first of 5 times. Maybe even less, because this cycle's really fast. So the first of 8 times. Okay, that's cool. Let's copy note 5, copy that over to 3, and we'll make this play less. So let's say the first of 4 times, and we'll change this around a little bit. We could add more delay onto it, shorten it up even more. So let's go over to bass. It's called Silent Object. It's my favorite bass preset. I will be hanging on to this for a long time. And we're actually going to mute this second voice and just focus on kick and bass and really lock something in here. So let's do that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and just like that, we have our bass. Make sure that this is locked to the grid. We could play around with this a little bit, maybe. Keep it a little bit unquantized to lock that groove in. Another thing too with bass is if every single note, with this bass it's not too big of a deal because it's quite muddy, but sometimes it's a good idea to push the bass either before or behind using micro timing so that the transient of the kick really pushes through and the bass doesn't get in the way of that. So we're gonna do that for actually every single note. It's almost a bit confusing because just kick and bass are playing, but you're hearing that high pitch thing, that's coming from the kick. What if we add something else like that? So this second kick will play the 4th of 4 times. Get tribal here. Copy step 8. And we'll do something different with this. Maybe change the filter. Ooh, yes, the bandpass up top here. This kind of reminds me of the Pulsar 23. There's something super unique about the Pulsar 23 that I haven't found anywhere else, specifically in the high end. And I'm finding that sort of quality here, so that's great. Again, this is it's basically just a drum groove. It's a drum machine. This might be a little bit random, this second track, so let's actually open this up. It's super easy. If we want to, we can make it 5 steps. Right, so now we're losing that long note that was probably on the 7th step or something. We can make it 9 steps or 10 steps. Let's try that. Honestly, what I want to add on top of this is just hats. There's also a lot of texture sounds in this sample pack. Come on. Ooh, this is cool. Zap static. What if we just put those on the ups? Kind of subtle hats. What if we open these hats up a little bit? Ooh, cool. Bring that delay down, chorus off maybe. If this was a lower note, would that make a difference? You could also throw some noise onto this third note. Yes. Just every time I use this thing, something clicked, like I said, and now everything I create on it is, in my opinion, it's a vibe. I like this. What's the other oscillator doing here? Would this change anything? This is on the hi-hats, by the way. Just really add some texture to these hi-hats. Now it's something completely different. So where do I go from here? My workflow is very loop-based, so I might put together, several loops like this one. And then of course, as I mentioned, I have individual audio outs right here. So I could export these loops onto stems, maybe affect them through hardware or maybe just digitally through my DAW. And then essentially just create like a library of grooves like this and choose the ones that I like best, develop them in Ableton Live. And that is how the Analog 4 has made its way into my setup. And now, a word from today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're watching this video, chances are that you'd like to officially release your music to all major streaming platforms. So first off, why choose DistroKid? They are hands down the most affordable music distribution platform in the game. We're talking like just over 20 bucks a year affordable to release unlimited music. And by the way, on top of that, I also have a discount for you linked in the description of this video. You collect 100% of your streaming royalties with DistroKid, another huge plus, and they're designed specifically for independent artists and producers. How, you may ask? Well, here's a list of tools that they offer that will help you with at least some of the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting your own music independently. For example, there's Hyperfollow, which is a free landing page that I've personally been using for years now across all of my social media. It's similar to a Linktree type of situation where you can lead people to specific pages or maybe different social medias. You can post video content, maybe a link to your latest single, and you can create an unlimited amount of landing pages at no extra cost. DistroKid also offers promo cards, another free tool that you could use to promote your music on social media. So many other features, and again, just over $20 a year. To me, it's a no-brainer if you're looking for a music distributor. Well, now you know where to go. Sign up using the discount linked in the description of this video.